Welcome to our deep dive into the future of work. We're going to be exploring what it takes for humans to thrive alongside AI. We're unpacking what machines can't master. Human skills to thrive in the age of AI. Have you heard of this report?
Oh, yeah.
It's a pretty big one, 103 pages. It was published this month, October 2024, by Citi's Global Insights.
Yeah, they really went all out.
They did. And over 25 experts across diverse fields contributed to this report.
That's a lot of expertise.
It is. They combine some pretty intense research methods, too. Market analysis, expert interviews, and a really deep dive into existing academic research. So before we get into the weeds, what's the big picture? What's the report's core message?
Well, in a nutshell, it's a call to action. It's saying that while AI will definitely transform the workplace, certain uniquely human skills, durable human skills, or DHS, will be even more crucial for success.
DHS. Okay. I like that. So it's not about competing with AI, but figuring out what we humans bring to the table that machines, at least for now, can't replicate.
Exactly. And AI is already proving itself to be pretty remarkable at things like accessing information, sharing knowledge. It's even potentially, they say, able to reduce bias.
Wait, AI tackling bias, how does that work?
Well, the idea is that if AI is trained properly, it can make decisions just based on data without letting emotions or preconceived notions cloud its judgment.
That's fascinating, but it's a little unsettling, isn't it? I mean, if AI can potentially outperform us in areas we've always considered uniquely human, what does that mean for the future of work?
That's where the concept of DHS becomes so important. And this report breaks down these uniquely human skills into three categories: hand, head, and heart.
I'm intrigued. Okay, so let's dive into those. What sorts of skills are we talking about under hand?
Hand skills are those tasks that require hands-on dexterity, physical ability. Think about skilled trades like carpentry or plumbing, craftsmanship like creating handmade goods, or even certain aspects of healthcare and caregiving that require human touch and precision. Robots haven't mastered those yet.
Right, jobs where you can't just program a robot to do it.
Yeah.
So then head skills, I'm guessing those are the brainy cognitive abilities.
Yeah, precisely. But it's not just about raw intelligence or being a walking encyclopedia. AI can already do that better than us. Head DHS is more focused on higher order cognitive functions that set us apart, like critical thinking, creative problem solving, and even self-awareness. Being able to step back and evaluate your own thought processes and adapt as needed.
So in an AI-driven world, it's not enough to just know the answers. You need to know which questions to ask, how to evaluate the information you're given, and how to constantly learn and adapt.
Exactly. And then, of course, there are the heart skills, which are, I think, probably the most difficult for AI to replicate.
Yeah, all right, this is where it gets interesting. So what kinds of skills fall under heart?
Think about those qualities that make us human: empathy, compassion, leadership, the ability to build relationships, inspire others, and create a sense of meaning and purpose.
So it's like in a world where technology is becoming increasingly sophisticated, it's our humanity that will become our most valuable asset.
That's a great way to put it. And the report doesn't just tell us what these DHS are. It provides a visual roadmap of their importance across different industries. So if you look at figure 14 on page 46, it shows how the relative importance of each DHS varies across different sectors.
A visual roadmap, huh? I'm a visual person, so I like that. So are they saying that certain DHS are more critical in some industries than others?
Yes. What's interesting is that in what they call generic industries, like research, consulting, and education, where you need to be adaptable and wear many hats, there's a high demand for a wide range of DHS. But in more specialized industries like healthcare, banking, or the media, there's a more focused set of essential DHS.
That makes sense. So if I'm in finance, for example, certain heart skills might be less important than specific head skills. This figure is almost like a personalized guide. You can look at your own career path and get a sense of which DHS are most critical to develop.
Yeah, it's definitely a helpful tool for navigating the future of work, but the report doesn't stop there. It also dives into expert interviews, which offers some pretty fascinating insights into specific skills and strategies for success in this AI-powered world.
Expert insights. I'm always up for some wisdom from the front lines. What are some of the most memorable pieces of advice that they shared?
Well, one expert who really stood out to me was Alison Tisdall. She's a CEO who specializes in leadership development. She emphasized the importance of leading in a way that empowers resilience and creates a sense of opportunity, not fear, amidst all this AI-driven change.
That's interesting. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? What does it mean to lead with resilience in the face of AI disruption?
So imagine a team facing potential job displacement because of AI. A resilient leader would not only acknowledge the fear and uncertainty, but would also focus on equipping their team with the skills and mindset to adapt and even thrive in this new landscape. They'd highlight the opportunities that AI creates. New roles, new ways of working, new ways of contributing.
So it's about reframing the narrative from one of fear and loss to one of possibility and growth.
Exactly. And this idea of reframing is echoed by another expert, Amanda Spielman, who served as the Chief Inspector of Education in the UK. She has some really thought-provoking ideas about how we need to revamp our approach to education to prepare the next generation for this AI-powered world.
Oh, that's a critical point.
Right.
We can't just focus on ourselves. We need to make sure the next generation is equipped for this future as well.
Right.
What kind of changes does she suggest?
Well, she argues that we need to move away from traditional education models that prioritize rote memorization and standardized testing. She's advocating for a shift toward fostering agency, creativity, those character strengths that enable young people to be adaptable and innovative.
I love that. It's not just about what you know, but how you think, how you learn, how you adapt.
Exactly. And on that note, Anton Koronek, an economics professor who studies AI, really breaks down the importance of metacognitive skills. That's essentially thinking about thinking.
Hold on, meta what now? Can you break that down for me? It sounds a little jargony.
Yeah. Think of it like this metacognition is the ability to step back and evaluate your own thought process. It's about understanding how you learn best, how you solve problems, and being able to adjust your approach based on what's working and what's not. Imagine you're collaborating with an AI tool on a project, and you realize the AI is spitting out some inaccurate data. If you have strong metacognitive skills, you can pause, critically analyze the data, and figure out why the AI might be going wrong. You're essentially the coach of your own brain, constantly observing and refining your game plan.
Ah, now that makes sense. So it's about being self-aware, being able to analyze your own thinking process and adjust as needed. That's definitely a skill that will be valuable in any field, especially as we start working more closely with AI.
Absolutely. It's all about being able to collaborate effectively with these tools, knowing their strengths and limitations, and knowing how to best leverage your own human skills.
Okay, so we've got these three categories of durable human skills: hand, head, and heart. And they each seem to be important in different ways depending on your industry. The report even provides a handy visual guide to help us figure out which skills to prioritize. And then we have these amazing expert insight that offer practical advice on how to develop those skills and thrive in this new landscape. This is a lot to take in, but it's all starting to click.
I'm glad to hear it. But there's more to unpack. This report also sheds light on some really interesting trends that are shaping the future of work, including the global training market.
Okay, now that's something I'm curious about. If these DHS are so crucial for the future of work, you'd think companies would be investing heavily in training, right? But are they actually walking the walk?
That's a great question, and surprisingly, the answer might not be what you expect. The report actually reveals a rather unexpected trend. Corporate investment in training has actually declined in recent years. You can find this trend highlighted on pages 96 to 100 of the report.
Wait, that doesn't make sense. If these durable human skills are so critical, why are companies cutting back on training? You'd think they'd be scrambling to upskill their workforce, not scaling back.
You'd think so, right. But when you look at the report's analysis, a few possible explanations come up. One thing we can't ignore is the impact of economic cycles. When businesses are feeling the pressure financially, training budgets are often the first to get cut.
Yeah, that makes sense. Short-term survival takes priority over long-term investment. But surely there's more to it than just economic uncertainty, right?
Absolutely. Another thing the report points out is the difficulty of measuring return on investment when it comes to training, especially for soft skills, the ones we were just talking about.
Yeah, how do you put a dollar value on improved communication or leadership skills?
Yeah.
It's much more nuanced, and the impact is felt over the long term.
Exactly. And that makes it harder for companies to justify spending money on training, especially when they're already feeling the pinch financially.
Right. So we've got economic pressures and the difficulty of measuring ROI. Anything else contributing to this decline in training investment?
Well, the report also points out this sort of policy paradox. It turns out that tax incentives often favor capital investments over investments in human capital.
So companies are more likely to get a tax break for buying a robot than for training their employees to work alongside it. That seems counterproductive, especially considering the point of this report.
It does, doesn't it? But before you get too discouraged, The report offers a glimmer of hope. It actually predicts a resurgence in the training market. And this time, it's not just wishful thinking. They explain their reasoning on pages 100 to 105.
Okay, I'm all ears. What's driving this predicted turnaround?
The report argues that this growing need for AI-related skills and the increasing value of those durable human skills is going to create a huge demand for training. Companies will simply have to invest in their workforce if they want to remain competitive.
So it's like this perfect storm is brewing. AI is disrupting industries, DHS are becoming the must-have assets, and companies are finally realizing that they need to up their training game to keep up.
Exactly. And what's exciting about this is that it's not just an opportunity for companies, but for individuals as well. Investing in DHS training isn't just about personal growth, it's about positioning yourself for success in a high-demand market. It's almost like you're sitting on a gold mine without even realizing it.
I love that analogy. But the report doesn't just stop with this optimistic prediction. It actually digs into some fascinating trends that are already starting to reshape the training landscape.
You're talking about Skills Wallet.
Yes, skills wallets. This idea really caught my attention. It seems like such a game changer for job seekers and employers. But I have to admit, I'm a little fuzzy on the details. Can you break it down for me?
Sure. Think of it like a digital wallet, but instead of holding your money, it holds a verified record of your skills and qualifications. The report explores this concept on pages 88 to 96.
So it's like a digital resume, but much more sophisticated and comprehensive.
More than just a resume. It's about moving beyond those traditional credentials and focusing on what you can actually do. No more sifting through piles of certificates or trying to fit everything you can do on 2 pages.
And I imagine this would save employers a lot of time, too. Instead of having to go through tons of resumes and doing background checks, they could just access a verified record of a candidate's skills.
Exactly. It makes hiring easier for companies and helps individuals highlight their skills in a way that's transparent and verifiable. And honestly, much more engaging than a traditional resume. Think of it like this. If you're applying for a job that needs, say, project management skills and data analysis, your skills wallet would let you not only list those skills, but also show proof. You could include certifications, examples of your work, even endorsements from past employers.
It's like having a portfolio of your abilities, all in a nice digital package. And if I'm understanding correctly, it changes the focus from what you say you can do to what you can actually prove you can do.
You got it. And the report makes an interesting comparison between skills wallets and things like digital wallets and digital IDs. Remember when people were skeptical about those at first? Now they're everywhere. We use them to pay for things, prove our identity, all sorts of things.
It's true. We tend to resist change, but then we embrace it. And before we know it, we can't imagine life without it. So are they saying skills wallets could become just as common?
That seems to be the prediction. And it makes sense if you think about it. With AI taking over more routine tasks, human skills are becoming what really matters. You need a way to showcase those skills in a way that works. And a skills wallet gives you a secure, portable, and trustworthy way to do that.
I am sold. Anything that helps me stand out when there are so many people looking for jobs and makes job hunting easier is a win for me. Plus, I love the idea of having all my skills and accomplishments in one place where they can be verified.
It's about time we had a system that truly reflected how valuable human skills are.
Okay, we've covered a lot. AI disrupting industries, DHS becoming more and more important, a predicted boom in the training market, and the rise of skills wallets as a potential game changer. It's clear that the future of work is changing fast.
It is. And we've only just scratched the surface of what this report has to offer. But before we go any deeper, let's take a minute to reflect.
Good idea. I think our listeners could use a moment to think about all of this.
Let's talk about what all this means for you, the listener, when we come back.
We're back, and I don't know about you, but I'm feeling energized after unpacking all of that.
It's a lot to think about, but there's so much potential.
Definitely. AI is happening, whether we want it to or not. This report really shows us how to adapt and even do well in this new world. But the big question everyone has is, what does this mean for me? How do I use this information in my own life and career?
Right. That's what we all want to know. And the good news is this report isn't just pointing out trends. It's about empowering us.
So where do we even begin?
Well, I think the first step is to figure out what your durable human skills are. You know, take inventory.
Kind of like taking stock of what's in our toolbox.
Yeah, exactly. Think about which DHS you're already good at, what comes naturally to you, and then which ones maybe need some work, which ones might be holding you back.
It's like that saying, you can't know where you're going till you know where you've been. Or in this case, you can't know what skills to learn until you know what you've already got.
That's a good way to put it. Once you know your DHS, what you're good at and not so good at, you can make a plan.
Okay, so say I've figured out my DHS. I know my strengths and a few things I need to get better at. What's next? How do I actually develop these DHS?
Well, this report has some good advice on that. One of the big takeaways is the importance of lifelong learning.
I hear that a lot. But what does it really mean when it comes to AI and the future of work?
It means education doesn't end when you graduate. It's about constantly learning and growing.
So being curious, keeping up with what's happening in your field, trying out new tools and technologies, and always being open to new information and skills.
Exactly. And remember those expert interviews we talked about? They have tons of practical advice about different ways to learn and develop yourself. That's all throughout the report.
All right. We can learn from the people who are already doing this stuff.
Yeah, they've got real-world experience.
And don't forget about those skills wallets. Even if they're not that popular yet, it's a good time to start thinking about building yours.
Yeah, get out of the curve.
Exactly. So even though we don't have to get rid of our resumes yet, we can start putting together proof of what we can do.
It's like a digital showcase.
Right. And what I love about skills wallets is that it's not just about saying what you can do, but proving it.
It's more than bullet points. It's about showing what you can really do. It's about telling your story.
And with AI taking over more of the routine stuff, being able to communicate well, tell your story, and connect with people, that's going to be even more important.
Absolutely.
You know, as we're finishing up this deep dive, I'm thinking about how this report is a wake-up call and inspiring. It's like, hey, things are changing, get ready. But here's how to not only survive, but do great.
It's powerful and hopeful. AI doesn't have to be the bad guy. It's about using it to create a better future.
And the best part is we don't have to just wait and see what happens. We can do something about it.
Yeah.
We can learn, develop those durable human skills, and be brave when things change.
That's a great way to put it.
So, listeners, think about this. Which DHS are you best at? And which ones do you want to improve? Look at your own skills, check out the report, and start making your own plan to succeed in this age of AI.
And don't forget, this is just the beginning. We'll be back with more deep dives into AI. It's a fascinating topic that's always changing.
Until then, stay curious, keep learning, and embrace the future.